Hello, my name is Travis Trotter, and this is my narrated introduction for BA 302. My nickname has always been Trotter since I was a little kid, which now as I'm finally getting older, it's kind of started to slow down a little bit, but still frequently I'm called Trotter. So I grew up in Roseburg, Oregon. I grew up riding horses, competing and traveling quite a bit around the Pacific Northwest. This is one of my favorite horses. She set about 4 state records in high school. This is probably my junior year of high school at just some little summer show we were competing at. I moved to Portland about 7 years ago. I love Portland and everything there is in the city. I also love being close to the mountains, the beach, Savi's, Seattle, and just so much hiking and things to do. My perfect weekend would definitely be spending time with my boyfriend, maybe going on a hike or going to the river. I definitely enjoy the summer. I am much more active in the summer than I am in the winter time. This is the summer. We were at Savi's paddleboarding. It was my first time doing it this summer. I did it quite a few times and really enjoyed it. This is a hike we took at night near the Bagsby Hot Springs this summer on a camping trip with a bunch of friends. It's a really fun weekend. This is also this summer hiking near Multnomah Falls. This is one of the littler falls we passed. This is last spring in Seattle. We took a trip up there for the weekend for my birthday. This is near the market and downtown Seattle. So I did take the 3 personality tests. The first one was the Myers-Briggs assessment. It showed that I had a distinct preference of extroversion over introversion, which I would agree with. I'm much more concentrated on the outer world than kind of myself or looking kind of inside. I also had a slight preference of sensing over intuition. I definitely look towards the present and more kind of concrete information. I do agree with just the slight preference though, because I am also pretty good at looking at patterns and relationships between things, and do definitely look towards the future, especially within an organization. I do have a moderate preference of thinking over feeling. I'm very logical, planned, organized, definitely a math science type person. And then I also have a moderate preference of judging over perceiving. For the Big 5 personality tests, I showed a 1%, or I was in the 1 percentile for openness to experience, intellect, which I would agree with, maybe not so severely, but I definitely am down to earth, very conventional, and definitely not creative at all. I wouldn't say though that I quite have such narrow interests. I do like trying new things. For conscientious, I was in the 64th percentile, almost kind of towards the middle, but more towards the organized and reliable side. I would say what pulls me down is probably my self-discipline. I do kind of get, that's something that I definitely have to work at. Extroversion, I was also close to the middle, but more towards the extroverted side, which kind of goes along with what the Myers-Briggs says. I know especially within the organization I work and then also in the school setting, I'm definitely more of an outgoing person, but also I'm very thoughtful and kind of introverted when I am on my own. For agreeableness, I scored exactly in the middle, at the 50th percentile. I think that's a good balance, especially I work in an organization, I work doing HR for a staffing company, and I think it's important to both be good-natured but also be able to be very, not strict, but very to the point and make people understand what is needed or necessary of them. For the neuroticism, I scored in the 22nd percentile. I definitely am a very relaxed person, but also do work well in high-stress environments. I used to be a nurse assistant and worked in the hospital in a pretty high-stress environment, and always was very good at staying calm, especially in times that families are irate or things are going wrong. For the value card sort, some of my overall top values were honesty and integrity, hardworking and commitment, creating balance in life, and broad interests. Some of my lowest values were recognition from field, solitude, completion, professional conduct, power, and influence. I would say the value card was probably the least accurate, at least of what I think who I am. I was confused. One of my top values was recognition from field, but then also one of my overall lowest values was the same. I would say that would definitely be towards my top values if I was deciding. I would also say my broad interest probably wouldn't be one of my top values. Like the two previous tests, I'm pretty narrow-minded or pretty narrow interested. I'm pretty uncreative and down to earth. I do agree with some of the lowest values, faith and spirituality and vision for sure. I'm definitely not a spiritual person. I don't make my decisions based on faith, and I definitely am not the creative, vision-oriented person. I do agree though on the lowest values with the solitude and the creativity, but I think that there's definitely some truth to this, but then also a little bit of parts that I would disagree with. And so that's my narrated introduction. My name is Travis Trotter for BA 302. Thank you.